what's good? And welcome back to Movement Monday podcast. I'm one of the co-hosts, because if you listen to episode 7. What?
Did we decide that whoever says the intro is the host?
Oh,
I'm the host for today.
I'm the host for the day. Let's just keep rolling because it's fun. I'm the host for today. My name's Kurt. Welcome to episode 8.
8?
Yeah. Last week was episode 7.
Ooh.
So episode 8, man. We're 8 in almost 2 handfuls. I'm super pumped.
Almost.
But hey, thanks for jumping on. If you haven't checked us out already, please go like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find it by searching Movement Monday Podcast. It's a really cool image. Just like and subscribe. Super awesome. Tonight, first time. No, it's not the first time ever. This has only happened one other time before. It's a dude pod tonight.
Wait, when did this happen?
When you were on vacation.
Oh.
And this is we recorded in here, and it's a dude pod. So all the dudes.
I guess dude pods run in the factory.
Dude pods are only in the factory. That's true.
Yeah.
So for all the dudes tonight, my name's Kurt. Next to me, sitting super close, and I like it, is
Ryan.
Let's go.
Hello, I am Joshua.
Hello, I'm Caleb.
There we go. So, again, welcome to Movement Monday. Again, if you have not checked anything out, please go do it. Go listen to the other 7. They're really great. All right, so tonight, I don't ever tell you guys the the icebreaker question, but this one kind of goes hand in hand with our discussion tonight. But the first icebreaker, which we've kind of already talked about a little bit, how do you guys feel about Titanic merch? Is it good to wear a Titanic shirt or to carry like a keychain
Why would
or
it be
to
wrong?
have like...
I think if you're gonna try to honor the memory of the Titanic.
Okay, sick.
But I mean, at the same time, it happened because of a huge error in the leadership. So
Well, also,
Right.
they didn't do ice tests. They didn't test iceberg resistance.
It was supposed to
either.
be unsinkable.
But they didn't test the iceberg resistance. They
iceberg
tested.
resistance. This is not Dungeons and Dragons.
They test. They did a really warm iceberg test. They didn't do an iceberg test though.
Yeah. I didn't know all that stuff. But then again, it's also like, what, was it 1911?
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
there's that, and they built this giant boat.
and also it's
So
British.
this was kind of like the pre-show talk. Because we were like, hey, is it weird to have like a Titanic candle in my house?
Why would that be weird though?
I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. Like, if you're selling merch to get money to support like research on the Titanic, that's one thing. But
Okay.
there
Okay,
are
Ryan.
tons of people that get paid to market Titanic T-shirts, Titanic plushes, like
Oh, man.
like
They have a Titanic pillow?
like
The
there are-
Titanic dog toy
There
with
is
squeaker.
so much money
I feel
flowing
like-
into the Titanic merchandise industry.
I
but
feel
don't
like
know if
that's
it's
mainly
appropriate.
because of the movie though.
No. What would you sell from the movie?
But then
the
does the
door
movie-
that had enough room for
Does
Jack
the
to be
movie
on?
count as a piece of Titanic merchandise?
Wait, yeah, definitely it would. Since you could.
Yeah, because you can't own the movie.
I never really watched the movie.
I
It's on
haven't either.
Netflix if you ever want to watch it.
I don't.
It's
I don't.
yeah, you don't have to.
What,
Just-
what brought this up? Was this about the submarine or did the submarine thing?
no,
bring it
no, you threw the water bottle at me.
up? That's not.
Ja-
I threw
we
it-
have
Yeah.
since we're recording in our youth room, we have a mini fridge, and Josh threw a water bottle at me, and I caught it, and I was like, man, this thing is frozen solid. This would have sank the Titanic. And Ryan's like, is it weird to want to buy or to sell Titanic merch? We're like, this needs to go on the pod.
Wait,
So here's what we have. So
Ryan,
yes,
Wait,
so,
we need to start a factory plush business. We need to sell just random things. Just sell a Titanic plush.
we already sell good merch anyways. But
I'm gonna be honest. Honesty time with Ryan.
I love it.
own some Titanic merchandise, and I will describe the Titanic merchandise I own. I own a stuffed Titanic, and I own a Titanic pencil sharpener.
What?
And these are from my Titanic phase when I was in like second grade.
Second, did you watch the movie in second grade? Or
Or dude, if you watch the movie in second grade, that's kind of it's like some naughty stuff in that movie.
yeah.
Or did you watch the movie in second
Definitely
grade?
did watch the movie in second grade, but not due to poor parenting.
That's true, yeah.
We skipped through that.
You
But-
skipped the car scene.
Yeah,
Let's
Yeah.
be honest.
Or- no,
it's
not
only
the cars-
naughty if you know what you're watching.
that is correct.
Solid point.
Also,
it's the car scene and
I
the
know,
paint
like,
me like one of your French
Looking
girls,
back
Jack.
at a bunch of stuff that I used to watch younger, I'm like, holy crap,
Th-
this is like
This is-
awful.
maybe yours isn't so bad. Like my parents let me watch Jaws in like
Oh.
kindergarten.
I watched.
See,
Yeah,
that's
So
I
here
watched,
I am,
I watched
30
Jaws-
years later, like super scarred.
I watched Jaws muted in first grade. There was a kid. There was someone's birthday party, and they really wanted a Jaws theme, and it was my sister's friend, and it was at the church, and I had to go because I don't know why, but they played Jaws in the background, and it was muted for some reason.
It's not scary, is it? Or
No,
was
it
it?
wasn't.
Scary? Yeah, if you watch scary movies with no sound, Jaws, it's not scary.
Like-
with no sound, it's still semi scary because you can still anticipate. But if you watch a movie with especially Jaws, with no sound, you don't hear ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. Like you don't
Like,
hear
sometimes
the
it's just funny,
like
though.
you don't hear the craziness
Like watching
to it.
scary movies without horror movies without music. Sometimes it's just really funny because it's
You
just
know
like,
what movie is just as scary without sound? The Ring.
What is that?
Never seen it, but
Is
is that like the movie like the chick crawled out of the TV?
Yeah, she crawls out of the
Ugh.
well on the TV, then crawls out of the TV. And
Ah, no.
too much crawling for my.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He must.
The
the
have
fact that
been
I went
drunk.
like this was terrifying enough.
He must
I
not like.
watched
Too bad you
it.
can't see us on YouTube.
Watched it when I was like third grade with my brother and sister.
Older. There you go. It sounds bad. Like I watched them and I'm the oldest. I'm like,
Did-
no, bad.
No,
I did not watch television for years.
Oh my gosh. I bet you didn't
I
like.
was so afraid
Hey
to
Caleb,
be
can
in
you turn the
same-
TV on? How about you go turn it
I
on?
was afraid to be alone in the room with a television for a long time after that.
Wow. Now that I think about it, I was probably traumatized by birthday parties more than anything because another kid at my, another one of my sister's friends they decided to have a Pennywise themed birthday party.
Dude.
I was in third grade.
No.
It was the old movie, so it was like the PG-13 one. I was horrified of showers and I would not go in a bathtub for like 2 years after that.
This transitioned really well from the Titanic to Pennywise.
how did, wait.
The scary movies from the Titanic merch to this.
You wouldn't take a bath. Were you clean for 2 years?
Yeah, I took showers.
Oh, okay.
I just be horrified and sit at the very edge of the shower,
Okay, I was worried.
all the way from the drain. I didn't take baths though.
I was like, stinky Josh for 2 years.
no.
Like, what smells like tortilla chips? That's Josh.
I don't know what it was, but I always liked watching it when I was little, the original one.
Yeah.
I
I've
don't care
never
much for
seen
the
it.
new
I-
one, but
I hated it so much. Like it got to the I was horrified of it to the point where if I had a red balloon in my room, I had to pop it no matter what.
oh,
because-
I thought Stephen King stuff was so interesting. Like I loved it.
I used to
I've
hate.
never
I could
seen
not
it, so I have
stand
no
horror
idea.
At all, but now I like it.
Never been into it. Okay, so there we go. First question. So Ryan has some, so there we have it, and that's okay. We'll give
Yeah, that's
we'll
fine.
give Ryan some grace because he was in second grade. Okay, so historically, cool. Have some stuff in your house, but then like it sounds weird to say memorabilia because that's
It's not.
In the
It's not-
historical
it's-
movie genre, I did watch Gone with the Wind. I thought that was really good.
Wait, that's historical.
It's about the Civil War.
yeah.
All I know is it's a long movie.
It's really long.
It's crazy long.
It's two really long movies.
And like one of them has like the first half has an intermission, which
Oh,
then
yeah.
you have to like it just
Change
says
DVDs.
intermission, and then
Yeah,
you have to
it's
put in
change
like the
DVDs.
other DVD, or what I had growing up, you had to put in the other.
VHS.
You had to put in the VHS. You had to put in the other tape.
Bro,
But it was so weird. At the end, there was no credits. It was like intermission. Like they showed it like
I-
at a movie theater. Like people could go get popcorn or whatever, and then they'd come back in. and then you played the other side. It was like actually like a screenplay, and it was just really. That is a solid movie, though.
love
I didn't like
VHS
the
tapes.
whatever her name was.
I know it was before my time, but like
Scarlett O'Hara.
my
whatever her
dad's
name was.
mom,
I don't know.
she never has DVDs. She only has VHS tapes, and
Sick.
I loved watching some of the old Disney movies and all that on those things.
Yeah.
Those things are so. Cool.
My grandma Toot had all of them,
Oh.
like upstairs. I snagged them.
Yeah.
I was like, Grandma Toot, I'm taking these. Okay.
Yeah.
So any of my family that's listening, I got them. They're mine. They're at my house, collecting dust
I took.
because I have no way to play them.
took
But I
some
got
and
them.
Moved out of my parents' house.
Nice. All right. So question number 2, which leads into our discussion tonight, which you guys already know. How do you deal with waiting? How are you on a scale of waiting? Are you okay with it? Do you find it, difficult? Are you good with waiting? We kind of talked a little bit like patient wise. Maybe that's okay. Do you go in like, oh, it's no big deal. Oh, sorry for your wait. Sorry it took so long for your food. Are you cool with it, or is it, does it drive you nuts? We kind of talked, and we did a series not too long ago. It was called The Waiting Place. It was maybe 2020, 2021, and we talked about how we're all in a waiting place. And it kind of rolled off like Dr. Seuss stuff that, we're in this waiting place, and, oh, I go here, I'm waiting. If I go here, I'm waiting. And it's all kind of our attitudes when it comes to it. How do we look at it? How do we adhere to it? Any way we look at it, we're waiting. We're waiting for us, as Christians, we're waiting for the return of Jesus to be with him forever. We're waiting for school to start. We're waiting, for a vacation to start. We're waiting, sometimes, speaking of movies, we're waiting for a movie or a TV show. Regardless of whatever it is, we're waiting in anticipation, or we're waiting in fear, or we're waiting. Either way, we are in the waiting place. So when it comes to that, how do you guys feel when it comes to waiting? What's your perspective? That's the word I was looking for. What's your perspective on waiting? Good, bad, ugly, rad, whatever. What do you got?
It just depends, really. Because like if it's like, let's say food. If the food's not good, if I wait an hour and the food's not good, I'm not going there again. But if I wait an hour and the food's like best food in my life, I may not. Just depends on how I feel.
There we go.
I feel like it's just a balance of reward versus wait. Because like if I wait an hour and a half for if I have to watch an hour and a half of credits before I watch a movie, no, I'm not watching that. That'd just be stupid.
That would be stupid. Why would you watch all the credits?
Gone with the Wind.
That's right.
Not
Rolling back to
commercial.
Gone with the Wind.
Commercial, sorry.
Or you can confuse, like, I don't know if you guys watch like Ryan and Caleb. You guys watch like old Disney movies,
Yeah.
where like the credits are at the beginning of the movie. Like if you watch Apple Dumpling Gang or the original Pete's Dragon.
Oh, I watched
The Apple
Secret of
Dumpling Gang.
Nana.
Apple Dumpling Gang's super rad. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's Disney Plus. It's great.
Don Knotts.
Dude, Don Knotts and crossing his eyes is. No, who's the other guy? It's not. He doesn't cross his eyes. Oh, he's the other guy, but he's super funny. But all those old movies had the credits at the very beginning. So my boys were like,
Mhm.
"What is taking so long? Why does this have to happen?" Same thing like Sword in the Stone does it too. We talked about that a little bit.
I watched The
Um,
Secret of Nim the other day.
Does it
And
have
it's
them at
one
the
of
very
those
beginning?
movies. It's really good. It's a really awesome show, and I love that animation style.
Yeah, I still like you can see like pencil lines.
Yeah.
I've always liked that style of animation. I haven't watched Secret of Nim in forever. What's this? Tim Conway. That's his name. He's the guy. He crosses his eye. He does all this stuff, and he tries to whistle, and he's like, he doesn't actually do it. He just like puts his hands right here, and you like the old like, and you do that. But he does. He's like, hey, I'll just do this. And it's like, dude, you're not actually doing it.
Why would you? What's the point of doing that?
It was just comic relief, and it was funny. But watching that, my kids don't like waiting. for that. So thinking of waiting, make it like, why doesn't the movie just play? We press play, show starts. Like now, like a title for like a show or doing whatever, like an intro slide, that's cool. But like my boys are sitting there like, dude, this is like 10 minutes of
It's not
who
10
produced
minutes.
this movie.
It's not 10 minutes. It's about
Well,
3.
some of them, it's like
Some of them.
it's like the first
Marvel movies are 10
It's like the
minutes.
first scene of the movie, with like things rolling over it, like animation by Jack Hanna. We're like, dude, what is going on? So like most of the time we just fast forward.
Oh, yeah.
But I liked what you said, you know, between like it's waiting and like the build up, or like, oh well, I got my food and it was great. I didn't mind waiting, like so that's. It is like it's a cool perspective on it. I like what you said. Thought that was cool.
So I can draw a parallel to food. So, like, you know when you go out to eat with your friends and everyone's getting their food but you?
Ah, see,
Yeah, and you get a little bit of anxiety. I have a real hard time with that.
you're like, what's taking mine so long?
Yes, and then it turns out they forgot your order.
Oh,
and then
that
you're all
happened-
upset.
That happened.
But-
to me.
Mm.
You can parallel that to life. So, like in college, especially college age, like my peers, their lives are accelerating at different rates. So, like, you get caught up in that waiting game of like, oh, well, when's my time with this supposed to happen, whatever it may be.
Nice.
So, like, it's tricky because you see other people going through life at different rates,
Right.
and you have to wait until it's like your time for whatever it may be. So I don't know, but same anxiety, just instead of food, it's
Food, it's life.
It's life.
That's a great way of putting it. Because I speaking of food, Movement Monday, a food podcast. Because that was like our first episode, which was really funny.
Monday, the
Move-
Bald Podcast.
It's not the bald podcast. I'm the only bald guy here until some other time. It'd be
Some
great.
other time.
Some other bald kid's gonna come in here and take over the pod. It'd be great.
Bald kid.
But like a couple weeks ago, my family went out to eat, and the girl forgot to put in our order. So like, my boys can wait up to till a point. They were like, "What is taking so long?" And she came back. She's like, "I have totally forgot to put in your food." I was like, "How is it?" Oh, okay. And I was just really
What were you eating?
at a certain pizza place that starts with an M.
Man,
Yes. Yeah, it starts with like has two M's in it. We're just not gonna drop it.
no.
It's like a fungus, a very chill fungus.
Oh!
That's the quickest thing I've ever described in my life.
I don't know why, the first thing I thought of was Marco's Pizza.
Fungus
When you said
pizza,
M.
Fun,
everybody.
fungi pizza.
It's-
No, so and I thought like we would get something off the bill, and she was like, "Oh, sorry it took so long, but pay in full." I was like, it's okay. So that
Or that-
that kind of made me salty.
Yeah, that happened to us at a certain down under restaurant. How about a restaurant down under? How about that?
Great description.
Hey, I got the point across.
You did without a name drop.
But
There you go. That's
we were having, so we just ordered or whatever we had, and we got salads. The power went out apparently,
yeah.
and everything was
That-
Oh no, their server crashed, so all the orders were dropped. We had waited like 15 to 20 minutes already for our food, when we had salads, and they made us pay for the salads full, even though we didn't get anything else. They made us pay full price for the salads.
They call those taverns.
Even though,
so funny.
even though they lost their actual meal.
There you go. All the fun. Caleb, how are you on? How are you on waiting?
I was
What do you
just
think?
on your food, on your.
No, on your food.
On the point of waiting for food,
Solid.
I remembered that place we went to in somewhere in West Virginia years ago, and we
I'm with you.
waited for our food for about an hour and a half.
Yeah. It was longer than the
'Cause I
movie we
think
went to
they
go and
must
see.
have had the cow in the back and slaughtered it themselves while we were there.
And waited to age it. It was like, sorry, we have to grind the cow that we actually just butchered outside. I'm pretty sure everyone ordered cheeseburgers too. But,
Yeah.
oh, I'll have a cheeseburger. And we had like 35 people waiting to go see a movie. And we called. We were like, okay, yeah, the movie starts now. We're like, okay. We gave local business. I do remember that.
Oh,
It was cool.
One time for Mother's Day, we went to a fancy seafood restaurant. It took them 2.5 hours to get our food.
I would have already walked out. I wouldn't have waited.
We were seconds away from it.
I would have been like, bye. So yeah, keeping like on the whole subject, like when it does come to patience, or when it comes to like how we do stuff, especially like I like the connection with, you know, because I mean we all wait, whether it's food or with life. I think as we get older, we're waiting for an opportunity. We're waiting for a job. Kind of we talked about that with like kind of like our pre-show, which was really fun. But I remember when I got hired here, I was in a waiting place. Like I had an interview in October, didn't get hired till December, so I was waiting there. And then I was in a waiting place before my wife and I started dating. I remember that, and this was probably, I was obviously single, waiting for the right relationship. And my wife Andrea and I have been best friends for a very long time, almost
75 million years.
That's 75 million years. I like it. Yes. So we've been friends since creation, and but I remember specifically my mom telling me, because I told her, I was like, I'm tired of like these other relationships. I want to get married. I want to date someone, but not just to date them. And my mom was like, I was really pretty mad at this whole thing, but she's like, God has the perfect woman for you, and you just gotta wait. And I told her, I was like, would you tell God to hurry up? I don't want to wait. I'm tired of waiting. And then like a couple weeks later, Andrew and I started dating, and we had been talking, or like we went on a trip together, and it was just like, there it is. My mom was like, "See, I told you." I was like, "Watch it." But I remember that, and then, here we are, 13 years later, 11 years of marriage, super awesome. One of the best things in my life I've ever waited for. So, really cool. Caleb had his hand up.
What was
I'm
the
done
best
talking.
thing you
Boom. What?
What was the best thing you ever waited for? You said it's one of the best things. What's the best thing?
Oh, dude, I've waited for a lot of stuff.
Like the appetizers at the
My cheese sticks at Cookout? I don't know. No, that does not trump my wife at all. That would suck. Like one of the best things? Like, yeah, honey, but it didn't top the mozzarella sticks. No. Just no. Like, I waited for my kids to come. I feel like such a group. They're like, dude, they were, oh my god, they were great. Okay, Caleb's turn. I'm gonna shut up.
So,
Dude pod.
about waiting. Waiting is not easy, but it does help. I remember something that somebody said. It may have been Bill Johnson or somebody that I heard at Summit, but they told us that and they don't necessarily study Hebrew, but they study the translations for the words in the Bible in Hebrew. So they said the Hebrew word for the word wait, because there are a bunch of different words that translate into wait. The word used there, whenever it says like wait on the Lord, or wait on. It depends on what context you're reading it in, because some of it means something very different. But
Yeah.
the word that they were talking about is the same word used for ambush.
Wow.
And so when it says wait, it means you know what you're waiting for, but you're not just sitting there. You are ready to pounce, almost in a sense.
That's cool.
So you're ready for it to happen, and you're anticipating it.
That's a cool way. I like that because that transitions. Actually, a great transition into how do we wait when it comes to our relationship with God, when it comes to our faith, when it comes to what God is doing in our life. So, big transition from food. And
translations from those fire mozzarella sticks.
yeah, which I don't even like. The only reason I bring up mozzarella sticks is because I had them tonight. That's the only reason.
You can't think of the best thing?
No, oh man. I have a laundry list of things. Like I waited for my kids to come into the world and watch them come into the world. That was a big waiting game. And I waited, to watch Andrea walk down the aisle. I didn't see her all day when we got married. And it was, so that was really cool. But yeah, those are like the top things that I've waited for, and it's really been awesome. But when it comes to like, how are we when we have to wait on God? When we've been, think of like our prayer life, our anticipation, almost like we're ready to pounce. Caleb, it's super awesome. This ambush, we're waiting. And I heard a sermon one time that
Getting ready for it to happen.
Getting ready for it. And like I'm trying to think where it is, but all of creation is waiting on tiptoes for the return of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything is waiting in anticipation, waiting for that ambush, waiting to pounce, ready to go for it. But like imagine like everybody waiting, and they know it's coming, but they're also prepared and just being so pumped. So transitioning here, how do we wait? How are we in the waiting place with God? Is it different than different relationships from some life stuff, or is it much more? Is it more difficult, or is it easier? How do we look at this? And then we're going to look at Scripture.
It's difficult not to get distracted,
Right.
because in the wait, you'll find a lot of things come by that really don't have as much value as they look like they do. And I'm not saying you should. It's fine to have a life and to do things,
Mm-hmm.
as long as it doesn't take precedent over whatever you like, over your walk with the Lord.
Yeah. Like that thing doesn't consume you in that. Solid point. What else we got?
I think it's difficult too because, so if there's something specific you're waiting on, like tangible, something very tangible that you're waiting on,
Right on.
you know how to go about preparing for that. If it's like marriage, you know, like there are people that can help you like take the steps that you need to prepare for what it means to be married. But when it comes to, God's like, whatever you're waiting for that God has in store for you, you're not always exactly sure what that is. And so going about preparation for that, and like, it's less specific preparation, and so you have to be prepared for anything.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it incredibly difficult sometimes, because we like to be confident in what's coming, and when we're not confident in what's coming, we start to freak out. So taking a broader approach to preparation.
Great way of putting it.
Yeah.
Sorry for the pings. My bad. We're running silent now.
Boo, boo.
Sorry.
Get off the stage.
My bad. Was not waiting for that to go off. My
To
apologies to the ping. But yeah, especially with the tangible things, because that's something that we can see and everything that way. Like this, we know what's coming. There is that preparation that is easy to do, whether in life or someone coming to the end of their life, and that's really hard. It's again how we look at it. It's a flat out waiting game, and I've been on both sides of that, and it's just it's easy, but it's also it's difficult because we are a generation, and why I thought of this topic is because that we're living in a world, not so much we as a generation, but we are seeing a generation of not wanting to wait. I want it right now. I have to tell my kids all the time that nothing is right now. Like, I want to do this. I want it now. Or like, nothing's right now. We have to wait. You need to wait for, your mom and I to do something. We have to wait till school opens. We have to wait till dinner. Those are the things. And it's hard. My kids are like, no, now. We are so much of a now culture with things coming out right now. Our food fast, and people get so upset. Oh, I had to wait at a fast food place for 5 minutes because they didn't have my nuggets done. We're like,
Okay.
dude, just chill. It's fine. Be thankful you're getting hot nugs.
Yeah, to be fair, now I do think that it's more of, wow, I'm surprised it came that fast. Like,
Oh,
stuff
yeah, for sure.
Like food or whatever. I always expect to wait. Like today, my mom and I had to go to an orthopedist. My mom took me, and then we got haircuts. Afterwards, we had Freddy's, and I was very much wanting a custard, and I decided to get it. I thought it would come with the meal. It came like 2 seconds afterwards. I was just utterly shocked.
You're like, yeah,
'Cause-
thanks, man.
Yeah, because like waiting on, I feel like having an expectation, having low expectations is always better than having high expectations for stuff like that, in my opinion, because you can
That's-
never really be let down.
When
Like,
it comes to like the tangible things,
Yeah,
like
like, let's
what
say-
you're.
let's say
That makes sense.
you always expect to wait like 10 minutes in a line, you get a pleasant surprise and feel kind of happy about it if you get if you don't have a line. It's always a different thing. I feel like stuff like this is always you just have a different viewpoint on things.
Yeah,
Changing your viewpoint can always help with most situations.
great point.
Jesus says something to a similar effect, and I always forget where it is, but he said, what is it? When you're invited to a feast, do not take the seat of honor, lest somebody
Give it to you.
greater than you come and you be moved to the end and be ashamed. Rather, take the end of the table, and then the host will tell you to move up, and that's basically it. Also, okay, I had another thought. It was a funny one. I can't remember it.
It's always the funny stuff. It's always the really good stuff that goes away.
Yeah.
What happens if people start fighting for the end of the table then?
Great question. We'll find out.
I
then.
think the moral of the story is
Josh is so concerned with the other people at the table.
At that point, I think we've still missed it.
Yeah, exactly. Great point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a really funny thought. Okay, you were talking about not having to wait in line at restaurants anymore. That was Okay, so a certain individual that we were talking about before the podcast started tonight, we were standing in a line at a Wendy's, and we were on a mission trip. We had a very long day of work. We were exhausted. And after we both ordered, he leaned over and said to me, "My sandwich came from a drawer." And both of us just started cracking up so badly that we couldn't compose ourselves. And I overheard the cashiers talking to each other. They thought we were drunk. And
Nothing better than middle schoolers laughing hysterically when it comes to it.
yeah,
You were probably middle school or early high school. right?
probably high school.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't remember the drawer, but I do remember you guys laughing hysterically. I do remember that.
Yeah.
I worked at a certain place known as the Lord's Chicken, and I can validate that. Yes, sometimes food does actually come from a drawer.
But it's a hot drawer.
Yes, it's a hot
Yes.
drawer. That's where we keep our breakfast burritos, or we kept. I don't work there anymore.
We are not trying to throw mud on restaurants. It's not like you guys didn't know this anyway.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I love that everything, like, we're, like, circling back around. It's like Jesus, and it comes back to, like, food. And we're going to circle back around. But this, again, if you've been a part of Movement Monday, if you're already you're 8 episodes in thus far, you've already heard us talk about food. And
Okay.
this has kind of been, like, different conversations. This is exactly why we started the pod in the first place, because it's just really fun.
I will
It's
say
random.
that goes back to what I was saying about the balance of reward for weight. You
True.
don't wait much for fast food, but it also comes from a drawer. You could wait.
There is the quick reward. There's like, I would like this, and you're like, boom. You're like, what? It's the fastest burrito I've ever seen in my life. How did you wrap that so fast? And it was like, there's that. Well, looking at scripture, here's what we see in Proverbs. Or sorry, God, I can't even read. Psalm 27:14. Caleb's talked about it when it comes to about wait for the Lord. And here's what it says. This is Psalm 27:14. It says, "Wait for the Lord. Be strong and let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord." So again, in this waiting period, we have an agenda. We have a call to arms. It's not just like, hey, wait on the Lord. Just be still. Just wait. Which that is another passage that we see in Psalm. But like, be strong and let your heart take courage. So there is something for us to do. There's something for us to work on. It's not just like, hey, just wait here. There's something like, okay, in this waiting period, I'm going to grow. I'm going to learn. I'm going to do this. In our young adult ministry, we talked about being single, and how being single in today's age is such a negative thing. But we've, put some light on it to say, in your singleness, you can be working on yourself. You can be, most importantly, you can be growing in your relationship with God. Setting up some, setting up some barriers that don't need to be crossed. You work on yourself and going, you know what? This is some things that I'm working on in myself. This is how God is speaking to me. This is how I'm living life right now. And I'm working on me. And instead of being like, oh, I just want to be in a relationship. I'm so tired of just being single and all this stuff. But you can, while you're waiting, you can be working, and you can be doing things that that are growing you spiritually and physically and mentally and emotionally. And you can be serving at a church and everything else. Instead of dwelling on something you don't have, you can dwell on something you do have right now. Again, one of the famous ones we see, this is from Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. It says, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They will mount up on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary, they will walk and not faint. So again, in this waiting period, our strength can be renewed. If we're down, knowing that, when I heard it said one time, like, when we are down to nothing, God is up to something. And it's so cool. And I heard it also said that many times the setback is the setup for God to do something. Go for it.
That is another point. That
Caleb
I
pointed
thought
at me.
of.
Caleb and I were just pointing back and forth on who's talking next.
Yeah.
It's
I
awesome.
mean-
Like, go.
Does anybody else have anything to add? Okay. So another point that I had thought of that I had forgotten about was, I know Bill Johnson said this. A lot of times, a longer wait. Sometimes the wait is because we're not ready for it.
Right on.
But sometimes the wait is because the answer is gaining interest.
That's cool.
And, the answer will be that much better if we're ready when it comes, when it does come.
I think that's super awesome. Yeah, great point. When it comes, I was gonna say something else. I was reading through the scripture.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
At school, so I studied industrial engineering. Ooh.
Wicked smart.
We can-
Ryan is.
But anyway, we look at factories a lot. It's funny that we're sitting in the factory.
Let's
But we look
go.
at factories a lot. And so with a factory, you have a lot of pieces that have to come together at the right time to make whatever it may be. And I think, some parts of a process can't move forward until the other part of the process is where it needs to be. And I think there's a lot of periods of waiting where we're waiting on another part of something greater to be set up and ready. We're not in this
Yeah.
alone, and not every great thing that God has in store is going to be just us. And so
Nice.
sometimes, we're waiting on other people in their season of waiting or in their
Yeah.
journey, and it all has to come together, and it's going to come together. And ultimately, God is the ultimate industrial engineer because He has synced it up to where it all comes together exactly according to plan. And I think that's
Nice.
super cool.
Yeah.
Just think about galaxies and the universe in general, even stuff beyond
Yeah.
Earth. Like, gravity itself is a miracle because everything in the universe, I don't remember where I learned this, but I learned it where I don't know, like, what video it was or anything, but basically everything in the universe is projecting gravity on everything in the universe. So everything has to be positioned exactly right so it doesn't implode on itself. And it's just a miracle, that in and of itself.
Is that why Kurt's being drawn so close to me right now?
Yes, and we're sharing a microphone. So, yes, and I was sitting the other way, and it felt weird, so I transitioned to be closer to you.
Our gravities are pulling us
Like,
together. Kurt.
any closer, Ryan and I are going to be snuggling, and it'll be fine.
Our gravities are going
Anyways.
to implode, and we'll make.
It's the mark of a good friendship when you sit super close to each other. It's cool. But looking at, bouncing off of what you guys said, when it comes to while we wait, God's preparing us, and it's not giving us something what we think we want right now. Oftentimes we take an unanswered prayer as a no, and really it's just a not yet. Or God's working in us, God's building in us, God's putting other people in our life that's going to help grow us, especially leadership or someone called into ministry. you have all these people, you've got mentorships and you've got all these other things and you've got different opportunities versus like everyone wants to be handed things now. But there has to be so much things, like especially like an internship or anything like that. You have to have all these things to begin to prepare you. Then you're going, oh, I get it. And then, you know, when it comes down, like, it's a great way of gravity, everything working together. Because if it didn't, it's all just going to bounce and it's all going to be crazy.
There are going to be a ping pong ball in the big,
Yeah, right?
solar system.
But I think it's awesome, especially when it comes to relationships. When Ryan was talking, is like, you know, sometimes you're waiting on the other person, and what we can see, especially in relationships, when somebody is not waiting, someone that's forceful and stuff, like they meet somebody and they're like, oh, gotta get married, gotta do this, and the other person's like, slow down, man. You want to be walking together. It's not a highway and a bike path. You know, you want to be walking together. You want to grow together, you know, and to communicate. Those are the things. Those are helping in the waiting period. It's helping both people grow, but it's also understanding where that other person is. You could be ready to go. You know, there's been times youth ministry that I've been like, oh, nope, we're going. Let's do it. Open fire. Let's do all these fun things. And then, like, those are the moments, like, after the aftermath of stuff, people have been like, dude, this went well. But there needed to be a little bit more preparation. Your excitement outweighed your preparation.
Rex goes Jim bouncing.
They messed up the time.
They
It
did
was not
mess it up.
my fault. Actually, it was my fault.
It
I'm going to
wasn't
pull
your
up
fault.
straight up Han Solo Star Wars line. It's not my fault that the hyperdrive doesn't work.
Kurt, it was your fault. You didn't check the time.
It was my fault, fine. But also, we went to Buc-ee's, and that was super fun.
That
Rolling
was
back around.
super fun.
That was great. We had a great day. My job consists of hanging out with students all day, so that was super fun.
It's just funny that your
But-
job is going to Buc-ee's with 2 students and the church fan.
And then we went and jumped, and it was great. Next up, burritos and bouncing. It's coming. It's gonna be cool.
I feel like that one should actually be named Burritos Bouncing and Barfing.
Triple B.
Yeah.
It's coming. I don't know when we're gonna do it, but it is coming. So rounding everything out, thanks, dudes, for being here tonight. Dude Pod.
Yeah. Dude Pod.
I love it. Super awesome. Let us know in the comments if you are a listener. How do you wait? Where are you in your waiting place? How do you feel about it? Are you waiting on God to work in your life? Are you waiting on God to move in a situation? Are you not waiting on God? Are you just jumping the gun on situations, saying you're in control, I'm gonna do what I want? How's that working for you? Let us know in the comments and then the biggest thing, how we can be praying for you. This is a huge thing that we do every week. We close out in prayer because prayer is a wonderful, always going conversation with God. That God is never too busy to hear from you. God loves you. He wants to have a relationship and a communication-driven relationship with you. He wants to hear from you. It doesn't have to be formal. You don't even have to close your eyes. You can just be walking. You can be walking. You can be driving. I drove back up to Knoxville yesterday. I was in Knoxville Saturday night. Woke up 5:30 yesterday morning. Drove here to church. Wicked tired. Was here till 12:20. Went home, and then drove back up to Knoxville. But what I used to do was, for like the 30-minute drive from my house to Cleveland, was I didn't listen to music. I just had a quiet time with God, and I was recapping my vacation. And I was talking to God. I was thanking Him for an incredible service and what He's doing and all these things. And I found myself just not needing music or a podcast or anything like that. It was just my time with God, and I would do that in college because I went to school in Cleveland, and it was just, I found myself kind of reverting back to that, and it was just really healthy yesterday. And while I waited in the car just to continue to drive an hour and a half by myself, which Ryan does a lot, which Ryan's getting ready to do again, all the things. So I did and then I got back yesterday afternoon. Then I left this morning at 9 to come back, and here we are. It's all the fun. But let us know where you are in your waiting place. But my dudes, how can we be praying for each other?
A lot of students at the time of recording are getting ready to go back to school, whether it be
There we go.
elementary, middle, high school, college, all across the country. So prayers for all of them.
As summer comes to an end.
I don't want to take the 18-year-old.
Boo, boo.
And there shall be weeping and gnashing.
There shall be.
I don't want to take.
There shall be some.
I regret signing up for AP World.
I don't even know what that means.
It's a cool class.
AP
It's a
World
cool
History.
class.
Advanced preparatory, is that what it is? I don't even know.
Awful-
AP
awful-
kids don't even know what it means.
And
Awful.
It count-
Advanced placement.
Advanced placement.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I
It
wasn't
means-
even. I was not in AP, but
It means-
Caleb should have been. He knew what it
Awful.
meant. You AP kids are going, I don't even know what it means. And Caleb's like, advanced placement.
Yeah, because we don't care about
Goobers.
that stuff.
Didn't even know.
We have to. We don't have time to learn that stuff. We have to learn the material.
That's true. He's like, I don't even care to know the placement I'm in. I just need to know the material.
AP
So they-
world.
Correct.
That's right. We're all just living in AP's world. It's cool. All right, so back to school, back to the grind, all this stuff. Wicked awesome summer too. We had a good one. I think July went a little too fast, but overall, really rad summer. All the fun. What else we got? How else can we be praying?
Well, a little bit what I talked about. Focus. 'Cause,
Right on.
yeah.
Focusing on that while we're waiting.
Yeah.
In the waiting game, in the waiting place, all the fun. So, this Wednesday, first time in a long time. It's gonna be really cool. Our Wednesday night, we're doing a worship night, which is gonna be really cool. I'm excited just to hang out and to worship. It's gonna be super awesome, and then that is also in preparation for Sunday morning. Our youth band is leading worship at our 11 o'clock service, so we're super pumped. So this is kind of just a preparation. We get to lead down here, and then we get to lead upstairs on Sunday. So it's just really awesome. So I'm crazy pumped about it. So, all the things. So. Anything else?
No.
Anyone want to close us out in prayer? I always give it up. I always give an option. I don't ever assign. It seems weird. Because it's a podcast, not school.
See, if you point fingers, you gotta do it. That's a rule.
I just pointed at myself. So, all right, cool. Well, I will pray, and then we'll close out. It'll be cool. So let's pray. God, we thank you God, we thank you so much for tonight. I'm not editing it. We're just going to go with it. Thank you so much for tonight. Thank you for the Dude Pod and for episode 8 of Movement Monday as we talked about waiting. God, help us in our waiting places, in the waiting game. Help our focus to understand why we're waiting, how you're moving in our lives, how you're growing us, how you're preparing us for what you have in store for us. Your plans are perfect. God, even when we can't see them, help us to have the faith to believe them, that they are good, and you're going to reveal them at the right time, at the right place, and you're going to appoint the right people to move in our lives, to speak into our lives. So God, help us while we wait. Prepare our hearts to receive what you have in store for us. And God, be with all of our students and teachers all across the board, elementary, high school, college, everything. Let's just make this school year incredible, where lives are changed where everyone we come in contact with sees the face of Jesus. That is, regardless of where we are, that and then whoever we talk to, that your love is shown, that your light is projected, and lives are changed. Help us to live a life to where the people who don't know God will come to know God by knowing us. Help us to be an example. God, we thank you so much for this podcast and all the fun that we have, and the stories that are told, and the lives that are being changed. Whoever is listening, and just the conversations that we have here. So, God, we thank you and praise you for the God of our lives. And everyone said,
Amen.
Amen. Hey, my dudes, thanks for being on the pod tonight.
Kurt,
You guys are awesome.
April 1st. Can I please do the Bald Podcast bit? April 1st is a Monday.
Is it really?
I just checked.
Sick. April 1st. I don't even know what episode that is, but Josh has the intro on the pod.
April 1st.
Let's
Welcome
go.
to the Bald Podcast.
Now you have to wait.
Yeah, I know.
Sick. You have to wait and prepare because Josh is going to do the pod.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. So
See, what we need to do is get bald caps.
You are not at a microphone.
you're not
Nobody hold.
you're walking around there, Chuck.
Wait, I thought it was done.
No. Oh.
Yeah, we are still
We're
recording.
still recording
I'm
for
so
about another second. We're cool. But yeah. Thanks for waiting.
You know, we
Josh jumped ahead and was like, "Nah, we're done." Kurt pressed pause. No, I didn't.
I saw you click it.
I did. Turned it on. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. You're awesome. If you haven't, go ahead, like, subscribe to Movement Monday.
Kurt, it is subscribe, not subscribe.
I said subscribe. Subscribe. Click the like button. I don't care. Click the button that says subscribe. I'll say what I want.
You know what's funny now that you mentioned that? I looked up a tutorial video for a Christian song, and it has 665 likes, and nobody wants to be the one to click the like button and move it to 666.
There's one person like, nope, can't. 2 people got to like it, so it just can't ever get to 666. Good call. Someone's waiting to do that. All the fun. All right, if you haven't already, go like our channel. Thanks for listening. Hope you have a rad rest of the week, and stay excellent. Good night, guys.
All right.
Good night.
Or good morning, or good afternoon. Whatever. See ya!